started lining them up and giving them tomatoes just like they put them in that tub. Here they come. Mama, we heard you was going to give us them tomatoes. She started giving it to them. She throws them tomatoes. Oh boy, Milford was still at home at this time. You girls know who I'm talking about. He cried. He didn't like to be busted. But Bo, it was funny to him. He never forgot. He'd say, Milford, cause fat. That's all it would take to make Milford mad again. But things like that went on in our house a lot. We always had somebody in our house besides family like that. There was always somebody there. We grew up, we wasn't hindered from having fun. We had fun. But when it come to work, we knew we had to work. We worked hard, but it paid off. Joe knows some of that, because his daddy was one of these people that grew up in our house. He was our older brother. He went to war. It like broke all of our hearts to see him leave, but he had to go. He done a great job while he was gone. He married a fine woman.
Yes, he did.
Raised a fine family. We love Josie, just like we love Miller. She was different in a lot of ways because they do things different. But she was amazed at some of the stuff that we did. She was. You just be proud of your heritages. You be proud of your family. Sometimes they get kind of, as the old saying is, they get kind of sideways, but don't throw them down. Don't kick them out the door. Don't do those things, because we all make mistakes. But there's always room for improvement. And we serve a great God. And He's the one that leads us. And He directs our paths. He does. There's a whole lot of stories that I could sit here for a week.
Oh, I could too.
Yeah, we could tell you things. Yeah, we could. That happened with our family. But I'm so proud of my family, this family that we have. We're just so proud that we have each and every one of you. And we'll always love you. And I'll say it again, if I could ever do anything to help.
Aunt Jenny, tell us that story about a turkey.
My mama got into turkeys, and she raised turkeys, and she would sell them to people for Thanksgiving and things like that. But the tom turkey that fertilized the eggs, he was huge. He was a big old turkey. He was mean. Them boys had made him mean. They had fought at him, and he would chase you. It didn't matter who it was, he would chase you. We had a neighbor that lived across the field, the Davises. The girls were our age. We were big pals. And they were a little on the heavy side than we were. Now, they wasn't real big fat, but they were heavier. They come over, and if they didn't let us know across the road, hey, we're here, that turkey would get them. One time they come, and they didn't let us know they were out there, and that turkey got after them. He run them around the house. They couldn't even stop long enough to get on the porch. They were going so fast. They would tell that thing, and it was so funny, and they just make you think that turkey scratched them to death, and that turkey never touched them. But he would chase you.
But they turned the turkey in the house. Mama had got ready for big meeting, and the boys turned the turkey in the house, and they stripped the curtains. It tore the house up. Tore it up. They just stripped the curtains and done everything. It destroyed the inside of that house.
Hey Jenny, do you remember the time, I think Uncle Milford and Uncle Weston had the pet coons and they turned them in the house, or Granddaddy, and
Oh, and climbed up the
they went in the
chimney.
fireplace and got smut, and got all in the
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
Went down the cupboard, got smut on the sheets and everything.
Blowed it everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah,
Y'all, there was always something going on.
yeah.
But sometimes it got cleaned up before Mom and them could get home if they were gone, but sometimes it didn't. And there would be a little bit of war going on there for a few minutes. But, I think it was good for us to know that Mom and Daddy wanted things like it should be. Mama wanted things clean. She was a very clean person. She wanted things clean. We had a lot of fun, but we worked hard.
Yeah, we did.
We worked hard. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we can go back, there's stories after stories that I could tell, but we'd be here all week for long. But I just want to let y'all know that this has been good. We need to do more of this. We need to get together more of this. Because there's some grandkids on y'all's side that I don't even know. You know, and there's some on that we got that y'all don't know. We don't know each other like we used to. We're too busy. We're too busy trying to get things fixed right. And it's taken away from a lot of our home life. It really has. Joe was just on that, come back after off the cruise, he's tired, wore out. We're going on vacation to rest, but when you come home, you got to rest. That's just the way life is nowadays. It's too fast, entirely too fast. We don't have time. We really don't. But I appreciate every one of you coming. And I really wanted y'all to know your heritage, how you got here, the hardship that it cost, and the things they had to go through to make it work. We have a lot to be proud of, young people, a lot, because we had good things. We really did. I introduced Betty Ann, Cheryl Ann, Joanne, all that. I introduced their mother and daddy. Didn't intend to. I mean, it didn't work that way. She come home from me from school, and Daddy and Pat, he had just got out of service, and they were butchering a little pig. Daddy wanted some fresh pig, and we wanted to go to the movie. There was a famous movie playing in Waycross, and Pat said, well, y'all help us with this pig and get through. I'll take y'all to the movie. Well, Daddy wanted some of the meat ground up, like sausage meat. And we had that little grinder, and I was grinding, and Betty was putting the meat in. And it wasn't staying in like she thought it ought to be. And she said, let's swap. You put the meat in, and I want to turn it. Okay? Well, she had that thing going. And that meat, when you do it too fast, the meat will come back. And I was trying to keep it in there, and she ground off the end of my finger. So that took care of our movie. We didn't get to the movie. That's how they met, right there. I introduced them. And it made a good marriage. It really did. He had them 5 girls.
It made 5 beautiful girls.
There is one wrong one in the bun.
But you know, although my finger got ground off, it didn't hurt me. It hurt me. Yeah, there was a bunch of us at home. We had fun, but we worked, and we learned how to be civil to each other. We loved each other. We loved our brother, we loved our sister, we did. We sure did. And there's a good results to it here today. I'm proud of every one of you. I am. I've had a lot of you in my house. I have. Y'all come, spent some time when you were little at our house. And we had fun. We did. We enjoyed it. My husband, Linwood Lee, was raised with a brother and sister. All they done was fight. He was amazed at our family. He really was. We could get together and we could talk without fighting. But you put them three together and they wound up mad with each other. It was not, they didn't have to share. That was one thing. They didn't have to share nothing. But when you raised in a family of 11, you learned to share. You really did. You didn't, you'd be in bad shape. You would be miserable. You really did. And I just love everyone of you so much. I just don't know how much I love you. I wish all of them could have been here, especially Jenny Carroll. She was always a special person. You know, she always thought I was her sister. Well, there wasn't much difference. There's not a lot of difference in our ages either. But, you know, when Bud was born, Bud was not blessed to be born with everything working in his little body. He was tiny. You could put him in a shoebox, and that's where he slept for about 2 months, was in a shoebox.
Nowadays they'll arrest you for that.
And I'd spend a lot of time with Marita because I wasn't big enough to get her to back her. But I was big enough to play with Joyce and Jenny Carroll. And we were more like sisters, I guess you would say. And then when they got old enough to come to the farm, they'd come and they worked in tobacco a few summers for us. We just tried so hard always to be a good family to each other. We really did. We were never perfect, now don't get me wrong. We had our problems, but we always tried to be a good family. And I'm proud of every one of you. I am, and I know that Penny is, and I know the others would have said the same thing if they could have been here. They would have said the same thing. So y'all just know that we're still here. We may not can do nothing much, but we're still here and we still love you. Really, really, really do.
We love all of y'all.
We love you too.
Well, you know, I wasn't born in the family, I was married into it, but I told Meemaw years ago, I said, something happens when me in jail, I get to keep the family. So there it is. So far, you know, we're still here. He gets to enjoy the family still.
And I know y'all got some good stories.
Yeah.
That's the reason we need to get together. Remember these things. They're important. I try to tell some of these kids, my kids, grandkids, sometimes I wonder if they're even listening. When you tell them, oh Lord, here we go again. David's got something else. But what I tell them is the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
They'll remember it one day. Yeah, they'll remember you telling them.
But that's about all we got time for. There's a whole bunch of other stuff we can talk about.
Hey, I want to say something real quick before we start doing whatever. So we've got a page written down for, I'm gonna call it one of the 11, all right? So you know what we're talking about? So find your part of the 11, and if you would, just write down on it, who their kids were, their kids, and so forth, so on. So I don't know if that's ever been done, that we've got,
The board lead page
right,
should have something.
has it got it all on there?
Well, I put something on there a long time ago and started it, and I did it with the numbers, so
Right.
like,
First, second,
Buffalo
third.
would be
Right.
one, and kids, and I
Okay.
did as much as I knew to do then, so there's something to build on, and it should still be on that page, it's probably a few years old.
So I was hoping while everybody was here, there's a lot more of y'all, there isn't one of these, or one lady.
Right.
So, that would kind of help out if we could get it just kind of written down. So, if you don't mind, and done, I'd appreciate it.
I got this story that I'd like to tell y'all about my daddy and his sister Viola. My grandmother had a prize goose. Back then, most families had geese. You know what you use geese for? To make pillows? Yeah, the mattresses, that's what you use geese for. Well, my grandmother had this big, they said he was huge, goose. He was the one that fertilized the hens, so they grow more geese. Well, it was Daddy and Aunt Viola's place to feed the geese. Well, this goose he was kind of a hog. And they'd shell corn, throw it in shell corn, and that goose could not get full. So they decided one time they'd fill him up. They caught him, and they poked the corn down his mouth. And they'd fill his esophagus up, then they'd stretch him, rub him, and make the corn go down in his stomach. Then they put more in. They put more in, so the goose couldn't even drink water. He was so full. Well, he died. Well, grandmother was a little upset, they said. And Daddy and Aunt Viola kind of got their harness tore up. Daddy said he learned a lesson. He said that was miserable to see that goose die like that. He said that was worse than getting the whipping. But grandmother had another goose, but that was her prize goose. And they took care of that goose. They got tired of feeding it. You know, sometimes as kids, we do get ourselves in trouble, don't we? Yeah, we do. Yeah. But there was a lot of things Daddy told us about them and their feelings. Sometimes he comes to me and sometimes I don't think about it for a while. But as you go back in history, just go back 50 years and see the change from 50 years to now. And you mothers that's got kids, you know what I'm talking about. When you were growing up, you didn't have the things that you have given to your child. They are done things that you didn't do. When y'all were 5 years old, had you ever seen a mountain? No. How many mountains has your kids seen as they grew up? How many trips have they taken on ships and boats? You think about it. We work hard as parents to do some of those things for our kids that we never did get to do. I had never seen a mountain until I was grown. And Pam was living in Atlanta. That's when I saw my first mountain. I never seen snow like you see snow. It never snowed when I was little, not the first time. Well, we heard about it. We read the stories about snow. And I went on a few snow trips with Diane and her family since they moved to Texas. And I'm telling you right now, I'm glad I don't live there. It don't take long to get tired of snow. You can't walk, you can't do nothing, you can't even stand up. It's awful. I don't want to live nowhere where there's snow. I'd rather fan than freeze. That is the truth. We went on one that we couldn't do nothing. We had to tie bandages things around our nose and mouth because our faces would freeze, our mouth would freeze. I mean, in just a few minutes, it was awful. I said, Lord, I'll be glad to get back to South Georgia. It's pretty to sit and look at it, but not to live in it for me. I'm a hot weather person, you know. So, as growing up, and we read these Christmas stories about snow and jingle bells and dashing through the snow and all this kind of stuff, I always wondered, what is snow like? What is it like that it could be that much fun? But you got to learn to like it for it to be fun. You sure have. It's the same way when our cousins would come from Michigan, and we'd be barefooted and with shorts on. And that summer, in summer up there, it's still cold. And it was just completely different when they would come here as it was when we would go there. So, I love the South. I love the sun. I love it. A whole lot of difference in this world today than there has been in the past 50, 60 years.
She wants to say something.
Okay.
Hey Jenny, did Grandma Boyette, does she make a habit of making quilts for grandsons' weddings and stuff like that?
Yes, she made me one.
She made me one. It's one of the last ones she made before she passed in jail and I got married.
Yeah.
And I've had it in cellophane all these years, you know, it's not, I could have brought it to show it. You didn't get one? Oh, yeah. I got one,
Talking about quilts.
See, that started something now.
Yeah, I got to tell you about this. I was not old enough to be in school. I started when I was 5. I wanted to go to bed. But this was before I was 5 years old. Daddy's Aunt Belle Thornton had come to visit with us, and it was in the winter, to spend a few days with us. Well, Mama was quilting, and she could quilt. Well, Mama said I was always into something. And I was under the quilt on the floor. The quilt was on a frame up, and they were sitting around quilting. And I'd want my needle threaded. Well, Mama would thread me a needle and hand it to me. Just to keep me quiet, I guess. And I would pick up the scraps and I'd sew. Try my best to sew. I wanted to make a quilt. Well, I just sewed up a whole bunch of junk. But Mama would always thread me another needle and hand it to me. And she saved those things that I sewed, and I didn't know this. And she made me a quilt, and she had it all done, and she put that stuff in the middle of my quilt. She had saved it, and made me a quilt, and it burned in the house before she could get it in. I never got to see it. She would do things like that. She just could. But she made a lot of quilts. Yeah, she did. That's the way you had to keep warm. There's a lot of things that will come to you along and along that means a lot that you can't think of all at one time. But if we get together, we'll come up with some other stuff. This has been fun. This has been good. Yes. And I just pray that this new year will bless everyone and bless us all. Maybe we'll be able to do this again one day. Y'all come snacks.
Well, Aunt Pam, do you want to add something?
No. I can think of a lot of things, but you can't tell them all today. Can't tell them all
You
today.
can help her remember though.